I recently found out what a big mate is, and I feel like I, 24 female, and one to my husband, male 34. I met my husband when I was 19. We dated when I turned 20, got married at 23. He's my first and only. He was so charming and handsome and had a great job and good money and treated me so good. I was young, and when he told me I was pretty and special and bought me nice things, I loved it. We've been married a year. This is what my day consists of. I wake up before him, make us breakfast, and take our dog on a walk. When he wakes up, he eats and never thanks me, takes me to our bedroom or living room or wherever he wants, and we have intimacy. He bends me over and finishes. He doesn't care how I feel or if I get off too. He takes a shower and leaves. He owns a private practice, so he makes really, really, really good money. It's enough to support us both, so a year and a half ago, I left my job. He convinced me to. I was a teacher and I miss it so much. While he's at work, I wander around and clean things that are already clean and bake things he doesn't eat. Sometimes I go to the store to wander around, sometimes the gym, sometimes when my husband sees I'm really bored, he'll give me money to buy something really expensive. It makes me happy for an hour. I want for absolutely nothing, but I'm so unfulfilled. When he gets home, I already have dinner done. We eat and take our dog on another walk. Together, we see our neighbors and I smile and pretend I'm happy. We get home, sometimes he goes to the gym and I spend another hour alone. Sometimes he doesn't and we watch a show or read a book together. And then I give him a BJ. I don't know why this is so sexual, ew. It doesn't matter if I'm sick or have a headache or just doesn't feel like it. I don't feel that I have a choice. We kiss. She means to say he kisses me once and holds my hair. I know that I have to, and then we go to bed. We have intimacy again. Most of the time at this point, he'll give me an orgasm, but it's gotten to the point where I don't even care, and I'm sore and exhausted. My body is exhausted despite the fact that I do nothing all day. He made me get an IUD because he's a doctor, so he knows best, but it gives me anxiety. I don't know why. He doesn't care. I have friends, but I hardly see them anymore. I know they would think I'm being spoiled and ridiculous complaining about my life, but I just feel unloved. I found Reddit recently because of the hours I spent alone a day and found this sub. I saw a girl a few days ago talking about her boyfriend, and the comments were saying he wants a bang maid. I googled it and that's what I am. That's really what I am. I exist to be pretty and meet his sexual needs, cook and clean. Well, yeah, if you really think about it. So for what she explained, I'll have his babies when he wants, and I probably won't have a say in it. He's a doctor after all. He doesn't abuse me at all, but he doesn't love me, at least in the way I thought he did. I don't know what to do. Please help me. What do I do to stop this? I can't divorce him. I have nothing, not even a job. I have my education, and luckily he paid off my loans, but nothing. No family either. It's why I became attached to him in the first place. I guess being a bangmaid is better than nothing. I don't know. Oh, that's so sad. I didn't know, you guys, I didn't read the story beforehand. This is just my first time reading it and reacting with y'all. But I didn't know she didn't have a family. That makes sense why she's so attached to this guy. Plus, like, that's why a lot of the times older people are always seeking out younger people in order to, like, manipulate them. And I know people always say, like, men with money, men with money. A man with money is nothing if he doesn't see you or treat you like a human being. Like, money doesn't make you happy. Well, money does buy some happiness, but money doesn't buy all the happiness in the world. Money plus some respect, yeah, I can get that. Like, you're going to be very happy. But had he treated her like a normal human being and didn't see her as nothing but a sexual, object to satisfy his needs with, then that probably would have been better. Plus, if you really loved her, since he has all about money, he would have hired a maid, and he would have encouraged her to either get a degree if she wanted to get another degree, go to her job, because sometimes sometimes there are jobs that are only there for people because people really love them. Like, a lot of people love being teachers despite its pay. There are jobs that people really love doing despite the low pay. He could encourage her to go to her job so she has something outside the marriage. He could encourage her to be a person outside this marriage instead of being inside all the day in a big house that's already clean, wandering around and then being used as yeah, I know what I'm talking about. But anyways, what do you guys think? Am I wrong for telling my boyfriend I won't kick my best friend out of my house? A bit of a backstory. Me and my best friend, Jen, have known each other for 20 years. She had my goddaughter, Sarah, in high school. She's now pregnant again and engaged to Tim. My boyfriend, Alan of 2 years, doesn't like my best friend, although he has never met her. So the story Jen, Tim, and Sarah were coming to where I live for Sarah's hockey tournament. Jen asked if they could stay with me for Thursday night, but that they were staying with another friend for Friday and Saturday night. I said yes. I told Alan about them coming and he was upset, mostly because I didn't discuss things with him first before saying yes. Side note, me and my boyfriend don't live together and I own my own house. Jen then reaches out and explains that they would rather stay at my place the whole weekend because they would feel more comfortable. I thought this was no big deal, but Alan said that the whole situation made him uncomfortable. He didn't want them staying there, and he thought it was weird. He asked me to tell them to either keep their original plans of staying with the other friend or get a hotel. I told him it was unreasonable to tell them to pay $500 for a hotel when they had a free place to stay. I said that while I was sorry it made him uncomfortable, I wasn't going to tell them they couldn't stay at my place. I also told him that if it made him that uncomfortable, he should come down and meet everyone and have fun weekend. He declined. They ended up getting back to my place by 6 p.m. on Friday night. I was on the phone with my boyfriend. I asked Sarah how the hockey game went. At the same time, Sarah said we lost. Tim said they sucked jokingly. Alan kind of lost it because he heard Tim's voice and questioned where everyone was standing in the house. Why Tim was hanging around upstairs and why if I was asking Sarah a question, Tim was answering. It turned into a fight and I hung up. We were all hungry, so I said that I would make some supper. Alan called again and questioned what was going on, and I told him I would be making supper. He again explained how uncomfortable all this made him, and he couldn't believe I was about to make supper for Tim, then sit down to eat with him. He gave me an ultimatum and said that if I cooked dinner and what? If I cooked dinner, our relationship would be over. I said okay because I thought it was ridiculous. He hung up. I hope Tim was worth you losing this relationship over. Monday comes and everyone leaves. And then Alan calls to explain that he was sorry and he shouldn't have freaked out like he did. He still says that after talking with multiple people, including a professional, his family, and his therapist, they agreed he was right. They agreed he was right? And that because something made him that uncomfortable, I should have told Sarah about the situation and got her to find another accommodations. It sounds like OP's husband is already trying to isolate OP from her friends and the people that she knows. Isn't this giving like love bombing, isolation, and then abuse afterwards vibes? I don't know. This is her best friend's husband, and her best friend's daughter. Like this is the people that she, sometimes this your best friend and her family or your best friend and his family are part of your family too. Why is he trying to isolate her from her friends and the people that she knows? And then why is a man whom her best friend is married to making him jealous and uncomfortable? Like this is literally very possessive, creepy, and jealous. OP needs to run. Am I wrong for telling my sister that she's the reason her kids don't have a father? So I, 27 female, have a sister Melanie, 25 female. She currently has 2 kids, Sam, 7 male, and Avery, 4 female, and is 14 weeks pregnant with baby number 3. The 9 male graduated high school. She convinced her boyfriend at the time to celebrate without protection. She told me herself she did it on purpose. And my sister turned up his parents' place 2 months later with a positive pregnancy test, saying how it's all gonna be okay and they can have a courthouse marriage and now then a real wedding after college. Because of course they won't have to worry much since his parents are financially comfortable and he's planning to get a degree in engineering. Needless to say, their relationship was over before the baby came. Our parents watched the baby so Mel could still attend college. She met a boy in one of her classes that was in pre-med, spent several months pursuing him until finally landing in a relationship with him, introduced him to the baby a few months in, learned he also wasn't interested in being a dad for a long time, if ever, and still went off her birth control and got pregnant a second time around. He tried to stay at first, but ended up getting accepted to a medical school across the country and basically left without another word. Now, my sister is pregnant with an older man who's married, who she's been having an affair with for the past year. She's claimed the entire time he's separated from his wife and getting divorced. But as soon as she told him she was pregnant, he dumped her and went back to his wife. Honestly, sounds to me like he wasn't really planning to leave her. And she said herself while ranting about it that she thought a baby would finally push him in the right direction. We were both in town and staying with our parents the other night, chilling in the living room, and my sister was complaining again about her past partners and how they're never there for their kids and that all men are irresponsible piss who just want to hit it and quit it when reality comes calling. She said she couldn't believe out of 3 men, all of them were so immature and cruel. Genuinely sick of her bull, I told her that the men aren't the problem, and the reason her kids don't have a father is because of her and her choices. I told her maybe if she didn't try to force guys into the role, she'd find one who actually loved her and the kids and want to be an involved parent. She started crying and yelling at me, and my parents had to take her out of the room. My mom told me it was probably better if I left, so I did. And both her and my father called me the next day to chastise me about how I handled the situation. I don't really think I was in the wrong here, but my sister is apparently still upset about it. First of all, trying to baby trap random men into having kids with you is crazy. Second of all, she's either truly unhinged and she thinks this is all fun and games, or for some reason, like she either had like a terrible background when it comes to her family, so she's searching for something inside her or like a void she's trying to fulfill because there's no way someone normal would do this. And then her parents are enabling her even worse, which literally proves my point that she must have some family issues because why would somebody do that? Like keep getting pregnant over like okay, when she was 18, yeah, she was young, she made a mistake, okay. But why did she keep doing it over and over? What? Am I wrong for telling my wife she was a liar and leaving? My wife and my mother have never, not even for a fraction of a second, got along. This was 100% my mother's fault. From the moment I dared to bring my wife home, my mom was hostile and saying my wife wasn't good enough for me and tried to get me to move back home. And yes, it's a culture thing. I'm Mexican, my wife is Irish. I cut my mom off for a very long time and it really pained me to do so, but it wasn't worth losing my wife. Well, my wife found out we were having a baby in December 22. We made the announcement in April, and somehow my mom found out. She started sending me mailed letters. I had her blocked off everything. And through mail, she expressed her desire to be a grandmother and apologized multiple times. Said she would do better and be more accepting. After many, many long discussions with my wife, she caved and said my mom was welcome here for 4 days. She lives in Mexico, but we have a spare room, but said I had better stand up for her endlessly if my mom acts up. I agreed. My mom saved up for 2 months to travel this way. We are in Colorado. She got here 2 days ago. Everything was fine at first, but tonight things hit the fan. Basically, my wife still has trouble eating. She's still nauseous, and whenever her breast milk comes in, it makes her sick to her stomach. She also can't eat when she's nursing because it makes her sick. Well, our daughter is cluster feeding, so my wife has a very small window of when she's able to eat. Well, my mom wanted to make a culture dish tonight for dinner to treat us to a meal, but what she hadn't told us was that this meal takes around 4 hours to cook, and she started cooking at 4 p.m. My wife said she was going to eat something else because she couldn't wait that long to eat, and my mom was offended and said she was rude, which I immediately put a stop to and explained the situation. My mom stopped, but when my wife was eating, she kept giving her looks. I said, Mom, stop it right now. And she scoffed and said something under her breath, and then turns to my wife and says, In my culture, this is unacceptable. Since you are raising a child in my family, you will learn better. My wife immediately screamed at her, Shut the F up and let me eat or leave. My mom threw the hand towel, grabbed her stuff, and left. I was so hurt by the both of them. I told my wife she was a liar. She told me she would let me handle it, and she didn't. Instead, she made my mom leave. I know my mom was wrong, but why couldn't she do this for me? I then left. She didn't even try to stop me. She texted me and said, Why don't you go back with your mom? Am I the a-hole? You guys, I wanted to make a longer 1 hour video of crazy mother-in-law stories. So let me know if you guys want that. And as far as this story goes, I don't think OP's wife is wrong. You can't just come into someone's house and disrespect them. And not everybody's gonna tolerate you like your children. People always forget that. I feel like mother-in-laws and father-in-laws and crazy family-in-laws in general, they always act like everybody's gonna tolerate them. You're his mother. You're not her mother. So honestly, if you got a line, someone's gonna talk back at the end of the day. people, you can only respect somebody so much, especially when they're in your house and they're being so disrespectful to you. Am I wrong for refusing to support my wife through her diagnosis after her infidelity? My wife and I had a pretty normal marriage. No kids, both employed, and really happy together. For 99% of our relationship, we didn't have any major problems. We made time for each other, so on and so forth. She recently went away with her friend for a girls' trip. The first 2 days after she came back, everything was fine. And on the third, we went to dinner with this friend and her boyfriend. Dinner went well, came home and went to bed. Wife woke me up in the middle of the night crying there was something she had to tell me. Long story short, she had cheated on me the entire trip, and her friend had cheated on her boyfriend as well. Apparently, the dinner together caused her to have an attack of conscience because she messaged my wife after I had fallen asleep telling her that she was going to come clean to her partner, and my wife had to tell me as well or she would. We talked, yelled, cried. I spent most of the night sick, told me it was just a horribly stupid decision, and was perfectly happy with me, which honestly makes it worse. Why risk a happy marriage for an affair? It wasn't my fault, the usual. I've been staying at my sister's place while we figure out the divorce. Before this went down, as she had been scheduled for tests and scans for what we thought were relatively non-serious health problems. Turns out we were wrong, as I was just contacted last week by her cousin telling me a scan revealed cancer. I got in touch with my wife and we talked. She proved her diagnosis and filled in some details. She was understandably terrified and begged me to come back, to talk to her, hug her, give her a chance to be there with her. I told her I wish her all the best. I'm very sorry what she's going through and know she's strong enough to make it through. But while I'd help financially from a distance, I wasn't physically going back. They, now her, have been harassing me, telling me to man up and go to her. My own friends are split 50-50. I don't want to go back. Before anyone posts that this is probably why she cheated card, no, we had a good marriage. We had a sit-down talk every month to discuss anything wrong. We were solid. She just chose to take a chance on a quick thrill, despite knowing cheating is 100% deal breaker for me. She never even planned to tell me until her friend forced her. Why, I certainly don't think anyone deserves this, and I am sorry it happened to her. In my opinion, her diagnosis doesn't change our situation. I feel it'll be harder on both of us with me being there, knowing I won't forgive her when it's over. It feels like prolonging the inevitable, and I feel like my obligation to her ended when she chose to betray our marriage. She has family and friends, so she isn't alone. I care about the woman that I married, but I no longer love who she turned out to be. So I feel it'd be unfair to both of us for me to be there. I'm not trying to punish her. My heart just isn't in it anymore. Am I the a-hole? I absolutely 100% agree with OP. And for her, the thing is, like, she said, oh, she didn't even say, I went one night and I was drunk and, I was really drunk and I just happened to cheat one time. She literally said, I've been cheating the whole entire trip. Back to back to back to back. And she only told him because of her own guilty conscience. And I'm sorry she got cancer. Obviously, cancer is always like the worst news somebody can get. But at the end of the day, what does that change? The marriage is still over. Am I wrong for telling my husband he failed to support me after my miscarriage? I, 32 female, had a miscarriage 2 weeks ago. I was 9 weeks along. This would have been my second child. I have one son. He's 12. I hate when people do that. He's 20 months. How old would he be? If 12 is I don't know. Anyways, my husband, 35 male, is a wonderful person. He usually goes above and beyond to be supportive husband. He's an amazing father. I'm very grateful to have him in my life. After my miscarriage, I explicitly told him that I didn't want people coming into our home until I've healed physically and was feeling better mentally. He agreed to this. I typically have my friend, 33 female, come over every week for a few hours so she can spend time with my son. They are very close. My husband told my friend that these visits would need to stop until I expressed I was ready to see her. She said she understood, sent periodic texts to me to offer support, and hasn't come over since being asked to give me space. The problem is with his father, 75 male. He lives across town and comes over once a week to do his laundry every single Sunday. This is a man I genuinely do not find enjoyable to be around. He has made derogatory comments about my appearance, my family, my relationship with his son, and essentially every little thing I do. I've never heard him say anything kind about me in the 13 years I've been with his son. He has no manners. He takes food from my toddler, calls my toddler unkind names, says he's playing around, and shows no genuine interest in being a positive grandparent. kicker, when I was pregnant with my son, he saw we had purchased a car seat and stroller combo. I was pretty far along in my pregnancy, and when we ordered it, he literally had the nerve to say, "Don't you think it's a little too soon to buy this stuff? You don't even know if it's going to live." My husband didn't say anything back to that and was pretty bummed when he found out I heard it from the second floor of my house. After my miscarriage, I thought my blanket statement of not wanting to see anyone was enough to get my husband to tell his dad that he would need to do his laundry elsewhere while I recovered. Apparently not. His father has been here every Sunday since my miscarriage. I retreat to my bedroom when he comes over and I stay there until he's gone. I hate this because I want to be able to enjoy my house and son while I recover. Isolating in my room limits the time I have with my son, who has been my best friend through this, and creates a general sense of loneliness. I told my husband today that I feel that he failed to support me. He was bewildered and told me I should have said something about his dad specifically. I told him I feel that my blanket statement of not wanting to have anyone come into the home should have been enough for him to know his dad was included in that, especially because he knows the history I have with his dad. He also knows how much his dad's comments about my first pregnancy has played a role in how I feel right now when I think about having to see him. My husband told me it's my job to specify what I mean. I told him I felt it was unfair for him to expect me to hold his hand through what I felt like was an obvious request and one that would be easy to honor. Am I the a-hole for expecting my husband to understand that his dad was included in the blanket statement? I don't think OP is the a-hole at all. If my friend who's kind to me, nice to me, is good to me all the time can't come while I'm going through this, what would make you think that your terrible dad would be one to come into my house? You know what I mean? Am I the a-hole for not wanting to remove a tattoo dedicated to my deceased boyfriend? I, 28 female, had a boyfriend, Lashlan, I think that's how you pronounce it, who suddenly unexpectedly passed away 7 years ago after 4 years together and over 2 years living together. I was, of course, a complete mess after he passed. As a way to memorialize him, I got a tattoo of his name over my heart. I now have a boyfriend, 27 male, who have been with for a year and a half. He's known since we started dating that I had a boyfriend who passed away. And about the tattoo, now that we've been together for a while and we're starting to talk about our future together, he has asked me to remove the tattoo and is offered to pay for the removal. His view is that it's unfair to him that I have a previous boyfriend's name tattooed on my body, especially in such a visible place, and asserts that no man would be comfortable with that. I haven't been in any relationships this long or this serious since Lashlan passed, so I genuinely don't know if that's true. He doesn't like that he has to see it when I take my shirt off, and people can see another man's name on my body when I wear single tops or swimmers. He thinks my reluctance to remove the tattoo is indication that I'm hung up on another man. And if I'm not 100% over Lashlan, I can be 100% committed to my relationship with him. My view is that I can hold space in my heart for my love and grief for Lashlan, and my love for my boyfriend and intention to have a future with him. Lashlan will always be a huge part of my life, and his passing will always be a source of grief for me. The tattoo is my way of honoring the impact he had on me. I don't believe in any of that detracts from my relationship with my boyfriend now. I think it's silly to be jealous of a dead person. I feel that his concern about what others might think is a little petty, but I offered to add 1995 to 2016 underneath it so it would be clear to others that it's a memorial tattoo. He didn't accept that as a reasonable compromise. My boyfriend thinks my judgment on this might be skewed because I'm still grieving, so I went to get impartial opinions. Am I wrong to keep a tattoo dedicated to another man over my heart while I'm in a relationship with someone else? Edit, I will not be reading or responding to DMs. If you have an opinion, great, comment it. Anyways, what do you guys think? I feel like she shouldn't remove it because it's just a memorial tattoo. Had this been like a random ex that's still alive that she used to be with, and maybe she's in love with him still, that's why she had a tattoo of him, or whatever reason, like that would have been, like, damn, why do you have that? But the man is dead and it's just a memorial tattoo. It's not that deep. But what do you guys think? Am I wrong for telling my aunt her miscarriage doesn't make her special? I, 18 female, have an aunt, 48 female, recently had a miscarriage. My sister, 12 female, has been really hyped about her 13th birthday this July.
I admit it's far away from now on, but she's turning into a scene so I can see why all the enjoyment. Today I came home from school to find my sister in tears. Her school isn't open right now. When I asked her what's wrong, she said our aunt had said that she wasn't special and that it's irritating hearing her talk about it and she's being selfish. My aunt's baby was supposed to be born the same day as my sister, and I know it must be hard for her, but I got mad that she would say that to a little girl, so I went in there to confront her. I asked my aunt what made her think she could do that, and she said she just had a miscarriage and to leave her alone. I told her just because she had a miscarriage doesn't mean she gets to treat every kid with the same birthday like Ish. She got mad and yelled that she was hurting. This may be part where I'm the a-hole. I told her that I get she's hurting, but she's also not special, and that her problems don't mean that she can lash out and be a B word to everyone else. My aunt left crying, calling me an a-hole. Now people in my family are saying the same, and only a few are on my side. Am I the a-hole? Edit. For anyone asking when was the miscarriage, I honestly have no idea. We aren't that close, and she never actually revealed when she miscarried. We just know she did. Honestly, I can see somebody being upset, obviously, and grieving their baby after having a miscarriage, but why would a grown adult tell a 12-year-old child who's just excited about her birthday that she's not special? Just because the baby the adult miscarried was supposed to be born the same day that the child's having their birthday. Like, I don't get it. What goes through people's minds to be so rude and callous to a child?